Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Hakeem Robinson, otherwise known as KSOO, is on trial for murder. His dad, Abdul Robinson, is the state's star witness. This dude, Abdul, has to be a first family. This dude told on his son, he told on his son's brother, and he told on his son's cousin. Let me explain something to you youngsters. If you have plans on jumping off that porch with that hammer and squeezing it, just be ready to throw your life away. If you got plans, like for the next 5 years, 10 years, forget about it. If you got plans to go to the concert, to the big fight, to be married within a certain time and have kids, forget about it. If you got plans to raise your children that you already have, forget about it. Another dude gonna be in your house telling your kids what to do. Another man is going to have that responsibility. He's gonna take over that responsibility. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just be coming through knocking your baby mama down. And then at some point, if you have a daughter, or even these days a son, he might start taking a look at them. Yeah, that happens all the time, man. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm trying to warn you. Where do you go when your own daddy will rat you out, knowing that you're facing a life sentence? You ain't never coming home. The daddy was arrested and charged with accessory after the fact. What did he do? He helped burn the clothes of the suspects. And he also told his son, KSOO, to take down social media posts that were incriminating. So he's trying to save his own skin. They asked him straight up, I believe it was the prosecutor who asked him straight up, like, why are you doing this? And asked him, do you love yourself? And he said, yeah, you're supposed to love yourself first. That was in regards to giving his son up, do you love your son? Do you love yourself? Oh, you love your son? And you gave your son up. Why you do that? Because I love myself more. Dad straight up said, hey man, ain't you supposed to love yourself more? First, self-love. Yeah, Dad exhibited some self-love. Too bad he did not exhibit some fatherly love, like give Hakeem and his brother and his cousin some real good old fatherhood mentorship. The father was already implicated in another murder case where he ratted out some folks to get his time knocked down. So allegedly he has a career of being a government rat. I was about to say, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. I know I have never seen anything like this before. I've never seen a father get on the stand and rat his son. I'm sure that's happened before, but I've never seen it. But he didn't just stop there. He ratted his son out. He ratted his son's brother out, which I'm assuming is his stepson. And then he ratted his cousin out, their cousin out. According to the prosecution, KSOO killed Charles McCormick because Charles put out a diss track aimed at him. According to the defense, it could not have been KSOO because KSOO don't even fit the description of the shooter whom they captured on video. They said the shooter was too lean and too short to be KSOO. The prosecution, for their part, is presenting video evidence of the shooting. They're presenting social media evidence and jailhouse audio. Whoo! How many people have thrown their life away? How many people have been caught in the crossfire, bumping in jail? KSOO is on trial for the murder of 23-year-old Charles McCormick. Leroy Whitaker is also being tried for McCormick's murder. Family, these youngsters think it's a game. They really do think they're playing some type of video game. But this is real life. And oftentimes it don't really settle in. They don't really catch it until all of the hoopla is over. When the trial is over and they got that time, and they have to go walk into that little box, that cage, and they realize they are going to be there for the rest of their days. This is now home. Ain't no soft beds, man. Ain't no getting up and walking out the door and hopping in the car and taking a trip, jumping on a plane, going swimming. None of that, that's over. Ain't no kicking it with the honeys and going to the big party, tailgate riding. That's over. All that's over. For some of them, they go in so early, man, it ain't no graduating. Ain't no prom. That's over. Forget about it. I would just like to see you give yourself a chance. That's all. If you find yourself in a position where you have to defend yourself and you have no choice, I get that. If you're right, then you got some fight. If you're right, you got some fight. If you're right, even if they say that you're wrong, if they find you guilty, in many cases, you can get that guilty verdict overturned if you fight, and I mean fight hard. Even if you're found guilty, oftentimes, if you are truly innocent and you got people that are willing to fight for you, they can get that verdict reversed. So the key is to make sure you're right. If you go there, make sure you're right. But you're not going to be able to prove that you're right if you just take a gun and go hunt somebody down and stand over them and shoot them. You're not going to be able to prove self-defense. You're going to jail. You're going to prison. And you're going to be eating slop for the rest of your days. You're going to be subjected to being around a bunch of grown men, many who have no sense of respect, many who will be farting while you're eating your food, and you might have to do something to them. Or if you get offended, they might have to do something to you. You're gonna have to be in that cell, depending on what your setup look like. You might end up in that cell where a dude taking a dump, just 3-4 feet away from your head. Yeah, it's like that. I don't think that these guys really take the conditions of prison into consideration when they do what they do. The intake alone would stop you from ever doing anything that could remotely send you to prison. You talking about being butt naked, heel to toe with other men, getting washed down like animals. That's what the intake look like. Throwing stuff all on you, washing you down. Yeah, fam. Anyway, but besides all of that, how about a little empathy, man? You know, like, these people got families just like you. I mean, think about what would happen and how your family would feel if you were taken away from them. And even if a person didn't even have family at all, you really want to take somebody's life over something that ain't even gonna matter in a day, next week, 2 weeks from now, a year? It ain't gonna matter at all. I think when you do things like that, before you do things like that, you should consider action versus reward. Action versus reward. What does that look like? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.